Welcome back to another episode of Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. I am your host, Kenny Anderson, and we again have a special guest as our co-host, Mr. Wolf Parker. David Wolf Parker's back with us yet again. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well. It's great to be back, and I love the fact this is called a rant.
Yeah, baby.
We have some things to rant about, don't we?
I was just gonna say, I think we're gonna be ranting a little bit today. So number one, Mr. Hankey's out on assignment this week, so that's why Wolf's back. And by assignment, I mean he's camping. So we got the pleasure of Mr. Wolf coming here today, and he's. I'm actually rocking a shirt for my guest, who's going to be on a little bit later. We'll talk about him. Wolf's actually rocking a shirt that was our guest, which I'd forgot about. The three of us tried to start that team that he's wearing.
That's right. Still got the T-shirt. What is it? 12 years later?
Right. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Pretty close. So he's rocking the shirt. And moratorium of the Oswego County Outlaws. So, so a couple things I want to get to today. Number one, we're going to have a great show. Like I said, the guest we have coming on has a whole bunch of shit going on. This is either going to be a really long episode or I'm going to break it down depending on how long this thing goes. And I may dice it up into a couple different episodes, but this cat has a ton of stuff going on. So it may take us a little while to get. Yeah, he is. The stuff he's doing is crazy. And actually, when you hear his story, that you're going to think he is superhuman. That's the crazy part. So let me just get into a couple things. Like I said, Hankey's on assignment camping. So we got Wolf here. Number two, I've had a few people reach out, ask how the weight loss is going. So actually, I thought I'd just give a quick little update. So it's been 2 weeks. I've been on this diet and doing walking. I walk about 5 nights a week and about 3 to 4 miles. Weekend, I'm probably hitting the 4 mile mark. Nights during the week, I'm hitting 3, but I'm doing at least 5 days a week, 5 nights a week. I'm still going to the gym 4 or 5 nights a week too. So combine that, I've lost 4 pounds in the last couple of weeks. So 2 pounds, they say you should lose about 2 pounds per week. So we're right on target. The goal is to get to 215. I'm 236.1 as of this morning, so we'll see. And what's that?
231. Those are rookie numbers. You had to bump the numbers up.
236.1.
This morning I stepped on a scale at a slim 277.
Woo, hello, baby. Hello, baby.
But I am down from 326. But this is not a one-upman show, so you take them.
You're a little bit taller than I am too, though, so you can spread it out a little bit better. So
yeah, I love how on the front page of Gridiron Rant you have that picture of you, and you cut me out. All you can see is my elbow when you're doing that.
What? I was actually going to post that on one of our videos of you and I together, the one we have from like 2003, your first year, 2004, sorry, whatever year it was, and then the one from the Rev. So I was going to kind of do both of them. I'll get that up there one of these. Maybe I'll do it on this one, and I'll put up here since we're talking about it. Maybe I'll put one down below, one up top. Who knows? Whatever the proper production is. For that.
All right, let's get on with this stuff because there's some funky stuff going on.
Let's rant. So first thing I want to do is I also want to go over the available platforms that we are. Obviously, we're on YouTube here because you're watching us here, so we're on YouTube. But we've also hit just about all of the main directories for the audio version. So we're on Apple Podcasts, which is also iTunes. iTunes is going away, so they're calling it Apple iPads. We got Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Stitcher as of 2 nights ago. We're on iHeartRadio. We are on Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, Listen Notes, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Castbox, and we're waiting to hear back from Pandora. And I just got an email from TuneIn. I have to jump in there, which is an Alexa app, TuneIn and Alexa. I just have to jump in there and do a couple, jump through a couple hoops to get the actual thing activated. So we'll be on TuneIn and Alexa here, and probably by the weekend, at the end of the weekend. So we're on everything except Pandora at this point, all the main, and I'm just waiting to hear back from Pandora. It takes a couple of weeks. You send in your submission, they make sure that we're not like, selling missiles or anything crazy like that on here. So, so we should hear from them shortly. Now, as far as sports talk's concerned, we're going to make these short because we're running a little bit behind and our guest will be on here. But so first is MLB. They announced this week, Wolf, that they're going to, instead of a 162 game season, They're going to have a race to the finish with 60 games. Now, I know you're not a big baseball dude, but what do you think about a season that's normally $162? They're going to cram in 60 games. They're only going to play league, right? So they're going to play 4 teams in their division 10 times, and then they're going to play 20 non-league games against teams in the same division of the other league. So in other words, the Yankees will play the Mets because they're in the East, right? So we'll have East versus East for 20 games. You're going to have 40 games of in-division, nothing but in-division kicking each other's ass for 60 games. What's your thoughts on that?
I think they better really figure out how to turn up their game, because that 160 plus games gives people time to get in the groove, get things going, you know, make a couple mistakes. They ain't got no time. This is like go big or go home from game one. So they better change their attitude real fast and in a hurry. And I think it's going to make it a wonderful playoff and run for the World Series, because instead of this watered down who survived, it's more like who's going to peak at the right moment and just the rest of the league.
Yeah, baseball is a game of ups and downs, right? Ebbs and flows. And there'll be a dude that'll hit 100 through April, and then holy cow, he'll hit 400, right? And he'll go on a 400 rant for a while, and so he'll end up the season with a good average, in the threes or something. They don't have time. You can't start at 100 average.
This is like starting off in the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty damn close, isn't it?
Playoffs, but I'm just saying, it's just like boom, you got to go now with 60 games. I mean, think about it. That's less than what is a third-ish. I'm not doing math.
Yeah, little less than
major.
Yeah.
But wow, they got to come out quick, fast, and in a hurry, like you said.
Yeah, and the other thing is they've made 2 adjustments to the league this year too. The National League now has the DH, so the pitchers aren't hitting. So now we got a DH.
That's going to be helpful for 60 games.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to up the players to 30-player man roster to start instead of the 26. So they're going to finish to 26.
So at least they're using their brain on the 60 game. They're not going to let people get wore out and hurt.
Right. And because there's no minor league playing this year, they have a deal set up with a stadium in Tennessee where they're going to house 2 teams that are free agents that if someone gets hurt on your parent club, you can buy that player. So you have to pay, and it doesn't say how much, but you can buy the player's rights out of Tennessee, and they're going to be playing like the 2 teams are playing against each other, so they're staying fresh, right? And they're playing the game. Right. So that's another interesting twist that we've never seen, right? Because there's no minor league, so they can't pull from the minor. I mean, they're allowed to have, I think it's it starts with a 60-man roster, then it goes down to 40, then 30, then 26. So I'm assuming those guys they cut, right, that don't make this, that aren't part of the 60 that got cut, will be in that kind of that minor league system in Tennessee, if you will. So that's that. So that's just crazy. Baseball is going to be something we've never seen before this year.
Wonder how much a season ticket is now.
$32. And if you bring your wife, she has to sit 6 feet away. So
some guys might like that.
Exactly right. Just think they could sit their wife on one side and their girlfriend on the other, and they'd never know. They're 12 feet apart.
Well, sounds like you might know something about that, sir.
Just kidding out there, married people. So all right. Might be why I'm not married, right? So let's see. So
that's the reason. Baseball.
Well, that's gone. So football. Let's get to NFL. Football. So they've canceled the Hall of Fame game, which was going to be my beloved Dallas Cowboys versus my older brother's beloved Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
So they've canceled that, obviously. For
what was the reason?
COVID concerns. COVID concerns. So here's the thing.
How about they play the game without a crowd? No concern. Now we can still see the game.
Well, I'm sure they thought of that, but they decided not to go that route. So here's what they have done, though.
Yep.
So next year, the class of 2020, which it would have been this year, and the class of 2021 will each have an individual ceremony next year. So both classes will be inducted in 2021, but 2020 will still be the 2020 class, obviously 2021. The only thing that I don't like about that is, heaven forbid, somebody passes.
Right.
Because they usually have an older, like I don't, shame on me, I don't have up all the people that are nominated, but there's usually like they'll nominate an older 2-person, right, that didn't make it in their younger days.
Right.
God forbid somebody like that misses their opportunity to be on stage and give their speech and, experience that. That's the only thing that, to me, but at the same time, God forbid they do it and they get sick from it, and then it causes their death. You know what I'm saying? So
That's one of them.
it's a
51
catch 20. Yeah, it's a catch 22, man. So that's that's a little disheartening because again, Cowboys fan, it would have been nice to see some preseason, but I got a feeling, bro, we might just see games. They might say screw preseason, have a couple inter squad scrimmages, bring a team in that's local with you. Houston might play Dallas at the Star, or Dallas might go to Houston, play a quick whatever, make your roster out of that, and 2020 is what 2020 is, and go from there. Maybe they'll do some roster exemptions like the Major League Baseball just did as we get closer to see if we're going to play or not. We may have those kind of adjustments. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to figure out what the hell they're doing. And then let's get to the other football news. Well, there's others. I mean, there's Jamal Adams trying to work his way to Dallas, the safety for Jets trying to work his way. Yeah, cover your ears. So Wolf has become a non-NFL favorite. We won't get a fan. We won't get into why, but what I will get into is he's a former quarterback. Played some
when I was small.
when he was smaller, when he wasn't 270, and he'd played some arena ball. We went over this episode 2. Played some semi-pro. Played some arena ball. So let me ask you this:
Bring it.
As a quarterback, do you think now Dak signed a $31.4 million franchise offer, which is a 1-year deal? Now Dallas can up him next year, but it's I believe it's a 20% increase in his pay if they sign him 1 more year. And then a new thing they've done in the new collective bargaining agreement is they can sign him for a 3rd year, and that number goes insane. It's like 50% or something more than what he's making now. So it goes into some really nutty number. If you're Dak, well, number one, do you think it makes sense to sign a 1-year deal on a quarterback for $31.4 million to play 16 games? The dude's getting $2 million a week.
Of course I don't. I mean, who would? I mean, I get it. The NFL is, let's not get too crazy here, but they're way overpaid. Right. Way overpaid. Talk about the haves and have-nots. I get it. They got their way there. They're at the show. But that's just ridiculous. These numbers are getting ridiculous. Especially at that position, right? I've been saying for years they need to have a salary cap just for the quarterback, his own salary cap, right? And that's actually been whispered that they may actually. 110%. They definitely need to shut that way down. Yeah, because some of these guys are just making too much money. They're not playing for the love of anything anymore. Right. Patrick Mahomes. I never made it to the NFL, so all I can say is that's a lot of money for 1 year. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. You've got dudes that made the game what it is that didn't make $40 million in their career, right? Didn't make $1 million in their career. Right. I mean, they really, really did. So here's what I got to say about it. Stuff's going crazy. So there were high school kids that I coached a couple of years ago. They got more heart, more energy, and more enthusiasm to get on the football field than any $30 million freaking dollar a year quarterback ever thought of. Right. My opinion. All right, so that's enough of the NFL talk. I know last week we brought up a couple of things that you were doing. We talked about RV and we talked about the Grand families. Where are you standing on that right now? So we just got our website address. We're Grand Family Adventure, all one word.com. You can also email me now, david@grandfamilyadventure.com. And we started my Facebook today. We're starting to get it all going. I'm hoping to launch something like what you and I are doing right now by next week and start putting this information out on lessons learned in this adventure of going from an empty nester to a big messer. I mean, there was a time I left for work at 5:30 in the morning. I left my coffee cup on the counter. When I got home at 6, it was there with a note that said, "Put that away." Buddy, that's a great T-shirt to have. Empty nester to full-time messer. That's right, or big messer. However you want to put it. Just a slogan right there. That'd be hilarious. Hilarious. Let me show you hilarious. Can I show you hilarious? That Outlaws T-shirt? Yeah, that is hilarious. You still got one? Yeah, oh yeah. I think I got a hoodie too. I got so many hoodies now. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I still got my hoodie too. He's in Texas, so I don't know how to turn this thing around, but check it out, okay? Yeah. This is my boys' playroom. Nice. We got the Star Wars. We got the Legos coming out your yang. We got all kinds of toys, right? And then what does my side of the room look like? Okay.
Okay.
So,
A desk and a chair.
yeah, because this is where I do a little bit of work. I have another office upstairs, but we're not here to talk about that.
What
We're
used
here
to be your
talk about
studio, right?
people. Well,
Yes.
the video studio is right behind me. I
Oh,
just
cool.
set up for some stuff that Tia's been doing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
we share it.
Yeah, so I was pointing below. We will. I'll run a little ticker tape there at the bottom with your new contact information, and folks don't hesitate to reach out. And I know from one of my followers already told me that she's going to be a follower, and she's not even an RV person. But she's looking forward to the stories.
It's not just RV. This is Grand Family Adventure. So we're going to talk about what it felt like when the phone call came, and the next phone calls, and going through the background check, and dealing with insurance. And all the emotions of you used to get up when, you were done sleeping versus, Grandpa, I got a tummy ache.
Well, all right. Our guest is about to join us, so let's take a quick little break. But while we got you, folks, please do me a favor. Can you tackle that subscription bar and stiff arm the bell for me? You stiff arm that bell, you'll get a notification every time one of these comes out. I also have a question for you. I'm getting a lot of people who want to be on the show, want to be interviewed. So I'm considering a second show per week. Is that something y'all'd like to see? If so, leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts on that. Would it be too much, or do you guys like just the one episode a week, or do you think maybe 2 a week would work? We're booked until Halloween, and I still got 6 people on the waiting list past that.
And I haven't even hooked you up with the people I've been talking about.
Exactly. These are just my contacts. We haven't even talked about Wolf's contacts.
2 week is easy. Hey, just for fun, Kenny, that's what he looked like when he was the quarterback.
Oh, look at the gun show there. Yeah, it's a little different. All right. So, all right, we'll be right back with our guest. All right, welcome back to the Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. Again, I'm Kenny Anderson with special co-host David Wolf Parker, and we have with us today my man Leroy Collins. He is a man of many, 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 many ventures.
You need to add some more minis.
Yeah, like three or four more minis. He's got a lot going on in his world right now, so we're going to try to get through as much as we can. But first, I want to just touch. First of all, Leroy, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Ken, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having this platform so I can be able to tell my story and basically let the people world know who I am and express some feelings and hopefully touch on some really tough subjects that's going to help change and heal the world.
Absolutely.
Hey, Leroy, if you ever write an autobiography, I'll buy the hard copy.
Well, he's got one sort of. It doesn't talk about everything. It talks about we'll get into that. So, and I've got
a videotape to get into all Leroy.
Exactly. I'm reading it. I haven't gotten all the way through it. It's a great read. It's actually very touching, and some of it gets a little emotional because I know him. It's real emotional to me. Now I want to just real quickly how I met Leroy. So, it's kind of an ironic. So we played football together for Syracuse. Was it the Storm or the Vipers?
The Vipers.
The Vipers. So yeah. I had moved back. I was in Rochester. I'd moved back. One of my buddies said, "Hey, we need a tight end. You want to come out and play?" So I'm like, "All right, shoot. Why not?" So I showed up for the first game and they started me. It was crazy, right? So boom, I'm starting in the first
ball.
Right, semi-pro. So boom, I'm playing. We run a sweep and they called him NFL. I'm like, why the hell are you calling this dude NFL? First play, I see this cat run the ball. We run a sweep. I hook my dude. He goes off my ass. He's up the sideline. A safety tries to corner him, and he eludes him, but he's hopping on one foot, dude. And he's going down the sideline on one foot. Gets his balance, boom, and he shoots in for a score. I'm like, who is this dude? Right? So we get in the huddle, and I'm like, and they're going, like, great run, NFL. I'm like, why the hell they call this kid NFL? So turns out we'll get into why they call him NFL, right? Pretty obvious, guys. I think you can do the math.
Yeah.
But after the game, we were talking, and we were in Scranton, and all of a sudden his wife comes walking towards the field. I'm like, I know that woman. Who is that woman? I hadn't seen her in years. I'm like, I know her. And he goes up and she says, "Great game, babe." Gives him a kiss. I go, "Kristen?" She's like, no. I'm like, holy cow. So he married my neighbor. So he married my neighbor. Now
goes like this big.
Oh, bro, but we lived out in the boonies, man. So
right.
neighbor, she
You guys didn't even get internet out there till like 2010, right?
dude, they still don't have
It's
internet.
still hard.
Right? So she lived like maybe 3/4 of a mile from my house, but she was like her and her brother, Ty, were the next ones to get on the bus. So we were the first ones on the bus. They were the second family on the bus. So we spent the whole time on the bus. I was number 1 on. She was number 2 on with her brother. She was the second to the last off. I was the last off, right? With my brother. So
see how close you got to the NFL? One guy away.
That's right. Right. Exactly right. So that's just a quick little story. And then Leroy and we've ironically, like I said, Wolf's wearing our Oswego County Outlaws. Leroy was a huge factor behind that. He did a ton of recruiting for, I had mentioned last episode that we had backing. Leroy secured most of that backing. Now I put in a little bit of my money. Wolf pitched in a little bit of money. But Leroy secured a whole bunch of funding. And when it fell through, we were able to transfer that funding over to the Shock when we moved over there. And, we were glad that the patrons allowed us to do that. So, or the advertisers allowed us to do that. So that's just kind of I helped train people at Leroy's gym. I mean, him and I, we got stories that go on and on and on. We coached Pop Warner together 2 years ago. And it was a disaster.
That was awesome. I need you back.
Yeah, well, it was. I may be back. You never know. Depends on what this career does for me. Not this career, but my current career. So we coached together. It was a disaster of a year because, quite frankly, we were outmanned. We had 15 kids. Our heaviest kid was the lightest kid for the other team. Every single team we played, our heaviest was their lightest. Yes. We were outsized. We were the only team we beat, believe it or not, Jamie Hankey's team.
Yeah.
My co-host, my normal co-host.
He's on assignment.
That's right. And he's on assignment. So the only team we beat was his team. And they too were small. That was
our
the only
size.
team.
The team we should have played.
That was the only team that we should have had a good game with. And it was.
And you know what? There's a little something behind that too. So basically, when these coaches, when these presidents go to these meetings, they go to the meetings and they have to actually have a scheduling war. Basically, it's like, I want to play that team, I'll play that team. But you have to be at the meetings. Mm-hmm. So we always got the hardest teams. And we've got one team that we can manage in our schedule, and the rest of them was like studs, right? And they had like 20 more players than they needed. They got guys my size, as a coach's size,
right.
at 11 years old. Because the coaches had to be there. I mean, the presidents have to be there at the meetings, and the presidents never showed up. So the presidents never showed up to the meetings. They gave you whatever team they wanted to. So that's why we always ended up with the hardest teams in the league, because we were never there to fight for our team, to fight for what we want. And I just found that out this year. That's why we always got the short end of the stick.
So that's a great place to start since we got into Pop Warner. So one, I don't rule out me coming back to coach. All right. I've got a couple things in the work as far as my career is, where I might be able to work anywhere. So
say that commute sucks.
Yeah, it's a long drive, 24 hours. But I may come up for the summer/fall. We'll see. So that's not out of the question. But number two, let's talk about, before we get into you, let's talk into what your current program is with. I know you got your boys into a new football league that's in New York.
So it's called the AYF, and the AYF is this new league that's it's been around mainly down south and out west, and now it's slowly ventured its way over this way, and this is the first year they have this AYF league. And right now they have 4 teams.
Is this the Snoop Dogg League or no?
Same league. Same league.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool.
So now I'm saying basically the whole idea is to pick the best of the best. You know what I mean? But really, you don't exclude nobody from the league. But I'm saying it's an opportunity to pick kids up from there. There's no restrictions like you got to live in Fulton to play for Fulton. You got to live in Hannibal to play for Hannibal, or you need a waiver. You can come from anywhere. You can play like semi-pro. You can live in Rochester and play for a B-Bills team.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's not restricted to just your county or your region.
Okay, good. And what's and it's by grade or by age?
It's by age. So it's 12U, 10U, and 8U.
So you have you could have a kid that's 200 pounds, Or you could have a kid that's
You can have a 12U
60
that's
pounds.
320 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of us that have played, I've always said, now when I grew up, Fulton Pop Warner wasn't out yet. So Fulton Pop Warner came out when I hit the 7th grade. So I was already playing middle school, I was already playing junior high ball. So there was no sense to go. Now, had I have known that Pop Warner had punt returns, kick returns, I may have played instead of playing what they call modified now, which is the junior high level. But no regrets, as that tattoo says, right? No regrets on the way it went. But I think that's better for the kids because we had kids. We had a 15-man roster that made weight, and every game we had 2 kids that would show up. God bless the 2 kids, and one of the mothers was fantastic. She totally understood, and we got to a game where we basically didn't make players, right? I think we had 14 players. You have to have 15 to play. And so we went to the other team and said, listen, we got 2 kids overweight. Can we play? We'll be the refs. Can we play? And they said, yeah. We'll give you, they gave us like 30 minutes or something. So what sucked is the refs were dicks to us. We're like, dude, we paid you. Why don't you stay and just no, we're leaving. We're like, dude, we paid you. It's not even a full game. We just want like 30 minutes. Let the kids play. And they were just jerks to us, and they left. So we went, the other team said, yeah, we'll let you play with the 2 heavies. And so we ended up having, letting those kids play, but that sucks for the kid. You can't blame a kid who's naturally big boned and say you can't play because you missed weight by 2 pounds.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's discouraging.
It's insulting. You're right. It's discouraging, insulting.
And this kid now is not focusing on football.
Right.
So the whole thing, the game is 90% mental, right?
For sure.
And 10% physical. So now you try and teach this kid to be the best he can be and all this other stuff. And now he go to weigh in, he's 2 pounds over. They tell you can't play. Mm-hmm. You discourage that kid from the mindset of the game. You got to focus on your assignments, your blocks, your the plays. Hopefully you're gonna win the game.
He may walk away from the game forever, which is even the worst part of And what if this cat's the next, Tom Brady? Yeah, he might be big and be a lineman right now. Our guest on episode 3 was Chris Bresnahan. He played tight end and defensive line his first year. He went on to be he wins a state championship at quarterback, and then he goes and plays college ball, and he was in the camp with New England Patriots for a while. Dude, you're too fat.
I started my year as a running back, as a lineman.
Right, and we're going to get that's a great segue for us. So yeah, so Leroy has a biography. Wolf ironically said, "Hey, you should write one." I don't think he has a hard copy yet. I have the digital copy. I've seen a lot of paperbacks flying around. But
better learn how to email then.
Yeah, right. So the book. Do you have one right there? You can show the cover. Of course you do.
I have the cover here. Yeah. We get a huge cover.
So, yeah, it says The Running Back, right? The true story from the wheelchair to the NFL.
Yep.
So this is available on Amazon. He's got paperback. You can do digital. And I will put a little do you have
on Amazon right now.
So anyway, that's a good way to so he's written a book. Tell us about not what's in the book yet, but tell me about the process. Why a book? And it's going to be part of this. I've already mentioned I'm wearing this for you, right? So
yes.
So go ahead. Start where you think's the best place to start.
I said so. Why a book is because a message. I want to tell this message, and I want this message to tell the world because, I'm writing my second book now, and my second book was it really about football? And I'm saying so. My book is not really about football. What it's about perseverance, about overcoming adversity, about facing oppositions and overcoming that storm and getting what you want, having a mind to see something, be obsessed with it and going after it and getting it. So that's basically what the book is about. So basically why a book is because I had a lot to express out. It's a story that happened, without getting into the book. There's 1% chance, or less than 1% chance, that anybody that have the goal and dream to make it to the NFL will make it. Less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And me being obsessed with having the ideal of having that dream of going to the NFL, I did it from a wheelchair. I did it from the point of you're not going to ever walk again.
What age was
I
that
did it
again?
from there.
What age was that?
Huh?
What age was the wheelchair? What year was the
I was
accident?
from 6 and 7 years old.
I was
6,
gonna
7
say
years old. I was
6,
in a
right?
wheelchair.
And then your brother
Yep.
was how old? He was older, right?
He was 4. He was younger.
Oh, he was younger. Okay. So, so we're not going to tell the whole book here because, folks, you got to read it. It's you would. There you go. That's it. Hey, can you screenshot that and email it to me, Wolf?
Well, I can try to figure it out, but
Yeah.
I just bought your book there, Leroy.
There we go.
You just bought it.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So real quick, I'm not going to give away the whole story, but long story short, Leroy's out one day playing with his cousins and his brother. They're out in the yard. They kind of get out in the street, and a truck, U-Haul truck, moving truck, whatever. I don't want to say U-Haul because that, whatever.
U-Haul style.
U-Haul style truck. Hits his brother and then hits Leroy. Not only hits Leroy, but drags Leroy. Drags him for several blocks. Something got caught underneath, drags Leroy several blocks. Now, when he shakes loose, this is the part that makes it crazier. The truck runs over his head. Folks, he's 6 years old. His head's not even fully developed yet, right? His skull's not even fully developed yet. So what ends up happening is, obviously the story is from a wheelchair to the NFL, right? So you can kind of fill in the blanks. Leroy goes through excruciating skin grafts. He goes through being told every step of the way, you'll never walk again. You'll probably, well, not probably, he told his parents, his mother specifically, he'll have brain damage, permanent brain damage.
Vegetative state for the rest of my life.
Vegetative state for the rest of his life. Obviously, does he look like a vegetable, folks? This cat,
not a cucumber or a tomato, nope.
Well, tomato's actually a fruit now, Leroy. Let's get that.
You're right about that. I'm glad you caught that.
So it's a crazy read, and for me, it's emotional because, like I said, Leroy and I have a history. Now, the stuff he went through for anybody, it is. I didn't even look at it as a story about football, to be honest with you. Now, again, I'm only halfway through it. It's a great read. It's about 250 pages, depending on which way you turn your phone, right? It's like 300. So it's a great read. It's not really long. It's broken down. He's got it broken down. It's real easy to read. And it's graphic and it's honest. And there's a lot of pessimism from surrounding entities and nothing but, Leroy wouldn't say this, but I'll say it for him. Fuck you. From Leroy. That's if you know Leroy, he doesn't talk that way, but I'll say it for him. He's like, I don't believe you. I ain't going to do it. That's not, you're not going to be my destiny, right? You're not going to tell me what my destiny is. So get the book, folks. It's like I said, it's available on Amazon. I don't want to, hey, listen, he played in the NFL. All right. So he went from a wheelchair to the NFL. Now, again, we don't want to talk about everything that went on in the book there, because even I still got to read it. And I know a lot about your life, but I want to dive into that book some. So let's talk about that NFL. So you went to Alfred, and I forget, is it State or U?
Alfred State.
So you went to Alfred State, broke a bunch of records there, was a beast, right?
Yeah.
So go from Alfred. I don't want to tell your whole story. Go ahead and you tell your story from Alfred.
So for Alfred State, let's go back a little bit from high school real quick.
Sure.
So in high school, I was receiving scholarship letters from everybody in the country, because I broke the New York State rushing record. So I was receiving scholarships from everybody in the country. And saying, but it was my grades and my SATs and stuff that kind of made that kind of all that stuff becoming just a thought or a dream. All right. Because I didn't have the score. So colleges couldn't pick me up. So I had to go to junior college. I went to junior college, my first year junior college, I got kicked out of junior college. You'll get into the story, you read about why I got kicked out of college, but then I went to Alfred State. I ended up going to get myself together, go back to Alfred State. So I went to Alfred State, and not knowing what's going to get out of it. I just had this dream that I was going to go to NFL. So I know I needed to work hard, need to focus. I need to get myself back on track to reach this dream that I made when I was 6 years old, when I was 7 years old. So I went back to, me on my grind. And then I had colleges calling me again like it was in high school. I had colleges all over the country calling me, wanting me to come for visits, and wanted to give me a scholarship. So I did my 2 years at Alfred. And then so I went to the first team I ever been, my first college visit. It was like, it was magical because I went to Syracuse, where I live at, close where I live at now. Syracuse University. I went to a meeting. I went to a visit there, and I got a chance to, hang with players. Got a chance to see Don McNabb. He's like a celebrity, like some kind of, like people worship him like he's a superstar. So this Division I life was something that, it was new to me. But I got a chance to visit Syracuse. I got a chance to visit Buffalo. I got a chance to visit I was actually going to Ohio State, to visit Ohio State, visit Michigan. And then, then I got a chance to visit Louisville. I went to visit Louisville, and then, they kind of sold me there. They're like, yo, look, this is what we want. You the one that we want. I knew Ohio and Michigan all had running backs. Louisville kind of told me they didn't have running backs. So that should be a place for me because we need running backs. We started from, it was a whole new recruiting, new coaching staff, entirely new coaching staff.
Who was the coach that recruited you?
John L. Smith.
Okay.
John L. Smith, there was a new coach. So everything was from scratch. So I chose Louisville because they started from ground zero.
Yep.
They said, we have no talent. We have a running back, not talent. We have no running backs. So you're a guy that we want. So that's all I need to hear. Let's go. It's game time. So then I got a scholarship at Louisville. And I'm getting a step closer to the dream I made when I was 6 years old.
So in Louisville, you came in. You were recruited, got a scholarship. Were you RB1 or did you have to earn RB1?
Oh, I had to earn it. I was RB3. Okay. I was RB3 times two, but I was back up to this third string running back.
Okay.
So we both were third string, but I was a second string third stringer. I was a second string third stringer.
That's a mouthful to even say, let alone how to think.
So I wasn't fourth string because we have a fourth string running back. So I was like,
3.5.
I was like this.
3.5.
Right. Exactly. 3.5. Yeah. There you go.
I was 3.5. There you go.
Perfect. So what was it like?
Your 40 times 3.5.
Yeah, that's when he's running backwards. This cat flies though. He flies still. He's 102 years old and he still flies. I mean, he's
fast.
He's still
look
fast.
At those guns, man. Look at that.
Look at that.
That's a mustache.
He's one of his side gigs. His main hustle really is besides being a motivational speaker and writing books, and he's got a movie deal in the works. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But he's a personal trainer. I mean, like I said, he had a gym for a little bit, and I helped train some people at his gym there, and he taught me some things there too. So, so he's, like I said, he's got a zillion things going on. But so let's get back to the Cardinals. So here you are. It's preseason. You're RB 3.5. Tell us a little bit what the process was to go from 3.5 to 1.
It was devastating. So the thing is, it was devastating because when I first got there, I thought for sure that I was going to have an absolute shot because I was much faster than all the guys, and I believe I'm more talented than other running backs there. They were great running backs, by the way, but I believe I was better than them. But the coach was looking for something specific. They were looking for something specific that I wasn't giving them. I had the speed, I had the elusiveness and stuff like that. What they were looking for that bang. That I'm saying, like, listen, there's a 250-pound linebacker coming at you. Are you afraid to hit him, or are you going to try to go? Or you need 1 yard? What kind of guy are you? Are you the guy gonna hesitate and get tackled and lose 3 yards, or are you gonna go right through that linebacker and get us that first down that we need? Mm-hmm. And so I guess they weren't seeing that in me in the beginning. So that's why I kind of started moving down the depth chart. And there was a couple guys ahead of me that would face adversity, that would run into that traffic.
In all fairness for you, right? It's an adjustment to you because I'm going to assume, based on what I've read and what I know about you, up to that point, dude, you were the best athlete on the field by a mile.
by a mile.
By a mile.
Listen,
so you didn't have to lower the boom. Those dudes, they thought they had you in the hole. You were 3 yards past them by the time they would start. They were going to wrap you up. So you weren't you didn't have a lot of at the point of contact
nope.
experience at that point.
No, absolutely not. I was the fastest thing out there on 2 legs, and you give me the ball, I'm going around the corner for a sweep, or I make one move, and the guy, you know what I mean, his ankles is over there, and his calf muscles is over there, and his knees are disappear. You know what I mean?
You caused a lot of middle linebackers to need chiropractors
Yeah.
And get their glasses fixed. They're like, holy shit, did I really just see someone go that fast? My time.
Hey, so in high school, I used to make a lot of guys' knees disappear because it was like abracadabra.
Right.
But once I got to Louisville, them guys were just as fast that I was going up against. I go run a toss sweep. They're like, hi. You know
I'm
what
a
I mean?
D-end.
And I try to make a move on them. They wrap my legs up so tight. I'm like, man, why you squeeze my legs so tight? My legs never been squeezed that tight before. What are you doing to me? That's like, oh, that's how we tackle.
Right.
I'm like, man, I gotta change some stuff here.
Leroy was only tackled like 6 times his whole career before then. So, you know, now that he's actually D1 on D. Leroy was a D1 player playing in high school, right? Here he is already physically a D1 player playing at high school level. Then he goes, because of his grades, again, he said, admittedly, he had to go to a community college. He's a D1 player, folks, playing at a community college. So, again, it wasn't like he was getting, it wasn't like he was getting
special treatment.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say challenged, right? I mean, he's just so much better athlete than everyone else on the field. So now it is, you're running dudes over now. I'm going to assume you decided, and I don't want to jump ahead because you and I have talked about this before, but I know that you woke up one day and just said, "Carpe diem, baby. I'm going to seize the day." And you
so
you changed your running style overnight.
I don't want to go into the whole story, but I want to tell that part because this part is important right here. This part right here that I'm about to tell is important. I'm walking over to my next journey. So after our first game of the year, after I didn't really get the shot that I thought I was going to get, and I thought that this was ruining me not getting that starting spot, is ruining my opportunity to go into the pros. I'm like, how can I go to the pros if I only get like a carry a game, and the carries that I get, I lose yards. So it became to a point like, okay, now I have to do something. My mother called me, so I was going to quit football. After the first game, I wasn't getting a lot of carries. I wasn't going to quit football. I was going to quit Louisville and try to go someplace else. And so I wasn't getting enough carries. I wasn't getting, getting the opportunity that I thought I should have gotten. So it was a toss pass. It was 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. It was a toss pass to me. Not 3rd and 4. Sorry, 3rd and 4, toss pass to me. I go on the outside. I'm clearly for a touchdown if I caught this pass. Mm-hmm. And I take my eyes off the pass and look at the guy coming at me and drop the ball. Ouch. 4th down, we punt it. They come down and score the next play. I'm devastated now. Coach Leroy, get over here. Give me a sideline. I'm a sideline upset. Arms crossed. I'm ticked off. Like I'm saying, only thing in my head while I'm sitting on the sideline, I said, I'm done with Louisville. I'm on my way home. I'm going someplace else. And so I couldn't wait to go home to tell somebody like to help me find another school to go to because I'm done with Louisville. Because I ain't gonna get a chance there and I need to get to the NFL. So I get to my room, my mother calls me and said, she told me to say, yeah, I saw the game tonight on TV. I saw it. She said, I saw you on the bench and I saw you upset. He said, and I said, yeah, man. I said, I quit. I want to play. She said, Leroy, don't never let them see you hurt. She don't let them see you hurt, and don't ever talk about quitting. She said, you need to start remembering where you are and what got you there. You gotta remember what happened to you. When you were 6 years old, you came to me and told me you want to play in the NFL. When you were 6 years old, the doctor told you you'll never walk again. When you were 6 years old, you wanted to do stuff on your own. I wanted to pick you up and bring you from room to room. You told me no, you want to do it yourself. You worked hard, you fought to where you are. Look where you are now. So don't you ever think about quitting. So that kind of, it messed me up because of the fact that I remembered. I started remembering like, man, you know what? I went through the ranks. I get up middle of the night trying to walk around in pain. I knew how much pain I was going to be in, but I did it anyway. I knew that I was going to fail at the certain attempts, but I did it anyway because of the fact that I wanted to get to the point where I was at right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember start thinking that, why wasn't I the starter? And what the coach was looking for me. And that night when I had that conversation, after I remembered why I was the point I was at, then I said, you know what? I got to start coming hard with these guys. I got to put my fear aside. The fear of running, purposely. If I run into somebody, if I have no other choice, that's one thing. But I was purposely that I said tomorrow in practice, next day in practice, I'm going to purposely run into somebody to chase them down, to run into them, just to get over that fear. And I did that from practice to practice to practice. And then next you know, it was like game 3. Coach like, Leroy, we want to start you this week. Because he saw that I had all the other tools. He wanted to see that. And I was able to overcome the fear to give him that. And actually to do that with perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the starting job, and then there was history.
And so it's a typical mama knows best story, right? She knew.
Yes.
but she just had to. What mama knew was she had to remind you how long this wasn't a hey Leroy, you had one great year at Alfred and all of a sudden you wanted to be in the NFL. That's been your goal since 6 years old. That's been your goal since you were told you'd never walk again, since you were told you're going to be a vegetable, since you were,
Yeah. So basically that's why the title of my book is called The Running Back. Now the thing is that the reason why it's called a running back, and I named it that, it's like a little catchy phrase, you know what I'm saying? So every time that we set a goal for ourselves, we actually go after something. We desire something. We want something. So what happened? We set our minds, that dream set us on a journey. We go on that journey, but on that path, you run into opposition. You run into adversity. You run into people telling you no. People telling you not good enough. People telling you you're too fat, you're too slow, you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too that. And so you get discouraged and you want to quit. So basically the running back is like, don't quit. Instead of quitting, run back to the point where you had that dream, where that dream was the strongest. You run back and remember why you're there, why you even attempted to go on that journey. So that's why I named the running back, because it got a little double meaning.
Double meaning,
it means
yeah,
obviously a running back, but it's also run back to the point where your dream was the strongest and start over. And
right.
That's what I had to do.
I'm stealing that phrase, Leroy. I give you credit twice, then it's mine.
So he's got, yeah. So, that's, how can you not get a little emotional when you hear that, right?
And after you read the book, you see that always had to run back to a point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's, you see a lot of stuff on Facebook, right? That people are posting about, this, that, and the third, that they're, what's not happening right in their life. And I even posted something this morning that basically said, you make yourself happy, right? You gotta find your own goals, your own dreams, and then execute them. You can't expect someone else to make you happy. And when you have a goal and a dream, execute. And listen, let's be honest, you're going to fail. Leroy, you failed a lot. From what I've read in the book so far, again, he tries to walk, folks. He doesn't just get up out of a wheelchair and he starts sprinting across his living room. All right. He couldn't walk or run fully extended for years, 18 months, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where he could fully extend his legs, so
yep.
It's not just because you're walking down the hallway and you fall doesn't mean screw it, I'm never walking again. He was right. He was right. The doctor was right. Right. Yeah. Even worse, right? Even worse. Because, what's that saying?
Hey, Leroy, did you send the autographed copy of The Running Back to your doctor yet?
See, the doctor, I think my doctor that had me, I think he's gone. But there's still probably a lot of nurses and stuff still out. And I probably don't know who they are. I got to be able to find them. But yeah, the doctor itself is gone.
What I was going to say is one part I thought was really cool in the book is, and I think this kind of plays with what's going on in the world today too, is when the cops decided at the scene, we're not waiting for an ambulance.
Yeah.
They loaded Leroy up.
Yeah.
And Leroy describes the scene of racing through streets, tight streets, running lights, timing lights, to do that. And then the ambulance was 10 minutes later than what Leroy, so Leroy wouldn't be here today if the cops didn't decide, screw that, we're taking this into our own hands. So, remember that, there's a lot of good out there, and we'll touch on some of that in a little bit. But again, we don't want to get too much into the book because I'm about halfway through and it's a great read. I definitely recommend it. And, not just because Leroy's my boy, but because it's a great story, and it's a reminder that, the only thing stopping us from our dreams are us, really. So, that's what I'm getting out of this book is, and there's other obstacles he's overcome. And I say others, like getting run over and having brain damage, or supposed to have brain damage and not being able to walk for, 18 months isn't enough. There's other stuff that goes on in his life at the same time that piles up that most people would say, screw it. Would end up in the streets or end up, worse, whatever the case may be. So the fact that he persevered through all that. So let's get back to football. Louisville, right? So you came out early. You had an amazing 1 year at Louisville. This is a question I've never asked you, and I've always wanted to. So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Put me on the spot, baby.
All right. Is there any?
We rehearsed this, Leroy. So here it comes.
Okay.
Is there any regret coming out a year early now that you look back at it?
No, because the reason why I was a top player in the country. I was the top player in the country. I was second in the nation rushing touchdowns. I was top 10 in every other category, every other rushing category. So I was a premier solid draft pick with my abilities and my stats and my football play, right?
Right.
So the thing that really damaged me and hurt me was the story, the running back, my accident, my potential one play away from a brain damage, or one play away from not being able to ever play again, or whatever the case is. So that was my Achilles heel.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the actual me coming out early and me, whatever, that had nothing to do with it. So, but my coaches brought it to the attention of the scouts up to the draft. Because when the first, if you remember back in 1999, when the first draft stats came out, I was in first round. Now, how do you go from a possible first round selection, to not being drafted at all? Being picked as a free agent. It has to be much more of the ability, because I already played the game. You saw what I did. My stats is history. Right. My stats is already out there in the world. So you know what I can do. So how did I go from first string all the way to not being picked at all? It's because of the story, but the thing is that it's all supposed to happen. Like I believe I was supposed to go to the NFL, but I was supposed to go the way I went. Things don't, they're saying that the things don't, how I envisioned it, I envisioned me going to get first round draft pick. And once I saw my name, I still got articles and still got papers now. I got my name on the first in the draft, got my name in the first list. I talked to Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins said they're going to select me in the first round. I talked to Jimmy Johnson, me and him sitting across from each other. He's going to pick me in the first round. So all this stuff that I dreamt as a little kid was coming true. But then week after week, my stock started dropping. I wonder why. Because of the story. Because everybody put a red flag near my name. Because I'm like one hit away from not being able to play again, and nobody's going to take that chance. They pay me a lot of money, and then I can't play again after a hit. And saying, so I don't regret it, because the story could have came out if I was a senior. If I was I was already a senior, but the story could have came out if I came out on time.
Do you think that
so
that
it still could have happened? But
do you think that was leaked by Louisville out of jealousy?
It was absolutely by Louisville. The coaches made it. the thing about it, people in these industries and these places, they know how to help you and they know how to hurt you. They know how to make your life great. They know how to damage you. Because you ever heard of the hype? Somebody that's really not that good, but somebody behind them is hyping up, and now everybody want a piece of this person because somebody engineered that hype.
Every year.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the person's the person that don't have nothing to offer, but somebody. So they have the ability to help you or to hurt you. In my case, because I didn't come back from my senior year, they decided I was going to be an example. I was going to be a set example for everybody else. When they didn't know, they had no clue that when I was 6 years old in a wheelchair, that I had a dream to play in the NFL. That it was a dream. The reason why I'm walking today, the reason why I'm on Louisville team is because I had a dream to go where I'm trying to go, to NFL. That's the only reason I played for Louisville. I was able to play because I had something that was driving me.
Right.
I was a miracle from God, but I had something driving me to want to walk, to want to run, to want to play football. So if they knew back then that the only reason I'm here in Louisville standing right now is because I had that dream when I was 6 years old. I had that motivation, that obsession to play in the game to get me out of the wheelchair. Because I rolled around in a wheelchair telling people I'm going to play in the NFL. My affirmation, I spoke that thing into existence.
Mm-hmm.
I believed it to existence. I prayed about it, and it happened. So I just think that if they knew more, as far as like, okay, it's my junior year, I'm a top player in the country. I had this dream when I was 6 years old, when I was in a wheelchair, when the doctor said I'd never walk again, but I had this obsession dream, and I dreamed about it every day. I talked about it every day, and then I worked on it. When I was 7 years old, I was working on it till I was 7 years old. It kept working until I finally started walking at 8, and then I said I did it, you know what I mean? And now it's time to play the NFL. If they knew that story, they probably wouldn't try to sabotage the rest of my life. Try to sabotage my career, not the rest of my life, because I mean, I remember I went back. I did a running back. I ran back a number, and I'm saying.
So you ran back to your dream. So you ended up in the NFL. How did you go from, you're looking, all I can think of is Aaron Rodgers' face when he was supposed to be like the first pick in the draft, right? Top.
Yeah.
Pick, and he ended up going, 18th, 19th, 24th, whatever the hell it was. So to be a guy that was supposed to be a first rounder, and then you don't hear your name called at all. What made you get up off the mat and say, I'm going to end up on, did you walk on? Did somebody call you? Did the Redskins or, I mean, how did that happen?
So the funny thing is that as soon as the draft ended, I had all 32 teams or 31, I think the 30 teams at the time, or 31 teams, every team called me, even Dallas Cowboys. Everybody called me.
They'll take a shot because now they can get you at league minimum instead of having to pay you. Back then they didn't have caps, right? So you probably would have got paid whatever.
175. It's 175 with 360.
There you
go.
So
I mean, so all these guys, I mean, it was every team in the country called me after the draft was over with, and they begged me. It's like, yo, you got to come here. You'll get a shot here. You get a shot here, because now they can go for a couple years, and then they can get the opportunity to try me out. But
right. Now you're a low risk instead of a high risk in the first round. Now you're a low risk as a walk-on free agent, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what it was.
So where'd you end up going and why?
So I went to Washington Redskins, and I went to Washington Redskins because my mother lived maybe 25 minutes from the Washington Redskins stadium. So I just thought that I chose them because of that reason, which I wish I didn't. But like I said, everything works out for a reason, right?
Right.
I wish I would have chose Arizona. If I went to Arizona, like I said, I'm not even gonna say I would have got a chance. If I went to Arizona, I probably had a better time in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Because soon I went to Washington, the worst place to go. Went to Washington Redskins. We get there, they get a new owner, Daniel Snyder. Daniel Snyder's a new owner. He don't know anything about football. I mean, he got a matchbox set of cards and think he know football. Right. I put those together. And saying, so I go to Washington, and then every team, I mean, then everybody that was a free agent or drafted in after the 6th round was cut. So free agents in 6th round was cut, and they brought in like all these big time players. But it was Dennis Green
Was that the year Dion came in? They brought in Dion.
Dion, Bruce Smith.
And Bruce Smith, yeah. Okay, I remember
you know
that.
what I mean? All these big time guys, you know what I mean? These guys are, you know what I mean, great guys, man. But you know, they have their stuff. But
yeah,
Daniel Snyder, he came in and just like dismantled everything, and but Dennis Green called me. He called me twice. He said, Leroy, he said, we want you to come here to the Arizona Cardinals. We want you to come here. You are a phenomenal player. We wanted to draft you. We had your name on top of our list for a long time. We had your name. We've been talking about you all the draft war. We want you to come here. And I said, well, let me think about it. So I ended up talking, hanging up, calling my agent. And then he calls back again. He said, Leroy, I will put everything on the line for you. He said, you are the guy that we want here. You can change our program. I'm like, why you didn't draft me then?
right.
You know what I mean? Nobody wanted to take a risk on me. But he actually told me that. This is what he told me. So I was going to go to Arizona. So it was between Arizona and Washington. And then the last minute, it came down. My agent kind of screwed me over a little bit too because it was a signing bonus. So Arizona wasn't going to give me a signing bonus. They're going to give me the highest contract out there, the highest contract, close to $1 million that they can give me as a free agent. And then, but they weren't going to give me a signing bonus. So Washington was giving me a signing bonus. My agent took the signing. My agent said, you should go to Washington. And he kind of leaned me towards that way. That's one thing I wish I chose a different agent. Big time.
Well, I don't, I know a lot about commission, but I don't know much about being an agent, but I'm going to guess he gets the commission up front because he's got a signing bonus versus getting slow paid over the life of the contract. So I'm just going to guess that's why he convinced you to do it that way. So, okay. So now you're a Redskin, Daniel Snyder, which you missed. Wolf was doing this. Now, if you followed Wolf, he said he was talking semi-pro owners, but now Daniel Snyder's doing it on a whole new level. He
took it all the way up to an NFL jock sniffer standard.
There you go. The NFL jock sniffer. And he's still sniffing jocks today. They still haven't won anything since he's been there.
It's horrible.
So how many years are you with the Redskins?
I'm with the Redskins for 3 months, 4 months. Okay, 3 months.
Okay.
No, not even 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. I'm with the Redskins.
So they released you.
And so let me tell you releasing. So this right here is actually in the second book, but I'm gonna let you know right now. This right here is powerful. You're talking about going through some stuff. This is powerful. So we had a game against the New England Patriots. We played against New England Patriots, and so we had to do them. They during draft cuts time, so they got cutting people. And you know the Reaper is, right? The Reaper is the guy during training camp. Is when you get ready to get cut, the Reaper come tell you the coach wants you.
Yep.
So most likely, if they said a coach wants you, maybe you're gonna go get an upgrade in sign bonus, or you're gonna get a promotion or something. But if he come tap you, say, coach want to see you and bring your playbook, that means you're getting cut, right? During training camp time. So I'm walking down the hall after our game against the Patriots. I'm walking into the hall, and I run into North Turner. Me and North Turner having a conversation. He tells me just like this. He said, Leroy, you had a great game. He said, I love the way you played. He said, I can't wait to see you next week. Okay, can't wait to see you play next week. I guess we're playing the Steelers or something. But I said, I can't wait to see you next week. And he said, keep up the good work. All right. So now in my head, I'm like, we made it. We did it. My level is on high.
Right.
I can't wait to go change my clothes and go call my mother to tell her, Mom, we did it. We made it. All right. Because he said he excited to wait to see me next week. And the last cuts was that week. And then after that time, you on a active roster. So I'm on high. I'm thinking like, man, this is it. I'm about to do it, right? I go down to my locker. I go change my clothes up. I get his tap on the shoulder. It's the Reaper. Oh. He said, Leroy, he said, Coach want to see you. I said, I just saw Coach. I said, I just saw Coach in the hall 10 minutes ago. I just talked to him. He said, yeah, I know. He just called me to tell you to come to this office. He want to get you and bring your playbook.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, what? I didn't get a chance to call my mother yet. I didn't get a chance to finish changing my clothes yet. I'm like, what? I just talked to Coach. So I grab my playbook, walk upstairs to the office. He said, Leroy, come in. I said, what's going on, Coach? He said, take a seat. I said, what's up? What's going on? He said, Leroy, sorry, you was on a bubble. We're gonna have to let you go. I said, what you mean? Let me go? I said, Coach, we just talked in the hallway. You told me you can't wait to see me next week. He said, yeah, I know. I got back to my office and there's a list on the desk, and your name was on the list as the guys that got to be released today. And saying, so you got an hour to get your stuff out of your locker, and we got to escort you out the building.
Who produces the list? Schneider?
Right. Who produces the list over the head
Guys
coach?
upstairs. The guys there. It ain't Norv Turner. It wasn't Norv Turner.
The GM?
The GM and the owner. Norv Turner had nothing to do with it. Norv Turner got too involved.
Like the NFL, Leroy. It's one of the reasons I like the NFL. Too much politics in the head office, too much bloody money, and too many dumb people who got a title who think they something.
That's great. That's crazy. So you're
So
released by the Skins.
So I went from saying we're gonna make it. This is it. We're on our way. I went from there to packing my bags
in 10 minutes.
Getting a plane ticket home.
In 10 minutes.
And it was all in a matter of 20 minutes. So within 30 minutes, within a minute, within 30 minutes of me having a conversation with a coach, 30 minutes later, I'm walking out of the building with all my stuff, never to return.
That's crazy.
Devastating. So I went to a dark place, man. I was depressed. I was hurt. I was feeling, so I was angry. It was actually worse than not getting my name called up to the draft. It was actually worse than that. So it was some really, really tough time for me. And I had to overcome a lot of that stuff, man, and get back on a horse, man. I went to a depression mode for a little while, and then I got it back. I got back to my thought process and say, you know what, it ain't over yet. I still got opportunity. And then I just kept working, and had my agent kept calling, and then there you go.
So after that, after you ran back to your dream again, what's this, third time, fourth time? Where did you end up?
I've been doing it all my whole life.
Right.
My whole life.
You can't even count how many times you've been running back. So where'd you end up after you got your mind right again, and where'd you end up?
So I went to Jacksonville, worked out for Jacksonville, and they signed me that day. So I was on their practice squad, and then I went to Jacksonville, was on practice squad, and I did the whole year there. So every week it was always like they're gonna bring me up to the active roster. So it was always that week. So as soon as they bring me up to the active roster, it's a contract that they have to sign, and so my pay scale go up. And so each week I was on that verge of that increased pay scale. And then it was like maybe the 12th, 13th game of the season. They brought me in. It's like, yo, we want to sign you up. So stay by your phone one night. And they had this check. I had maybe like a $60,000 increase for each week. So each $60,000 increase for each week for the pay scale I was gonna get. And then I waited all night long. I waited till like 3 o'clock in the morning. This is also in the second book too. But I waited till like 3 o'clock in the morning for that phone call, right? That phone call is going to give me, because they're saying usually they call sometimes they call 11 and on. They had to make these phone calls. So I waited till like 3 o'clock in the morning for this phone call, and I never got it. And I'm saying, so I had to go to sleep, but had to wake up next day for practice. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what the heck's going on, coach? You know what I mean? I thought you're going to, not coach, but GM. And then, that went on. And then I was there throughout the next year. Then I went to training camp the next year. Then I injured my back. So I injured my back with Jacksonville the second year I was there. And they had me second behind Fred Taylor at this time. Now it was like on the charts as a second running back behind Fred Taylor and on the depth chart. And I injured my back like the first week of training camp. And I was hurt for like about 3 weeks in training camp.
Ouch. And
that was devastating. So you can't make the club in the tub.
Right.
And I'm saying, so I ended up having a herniated disc in my back, which they told me was a back spasm. It was a herniated disc. So now I went to try to get some legal stuff to try to, to get that 1.6 I was actually supposed to get, and it didn't happen for me. And it's like the window. Yeah. Okay. So basically, that's what it was. I became a journeyman, and I was just traveling around. Trying to find my place, and I got picked up by the XFL, the CFL, And I mean, obviously, you know, ring the league and saying so. Like a lot of that stuff is in book number 2 that I'm talking about right now. But
Okay.
so the running back is the first book, but then there's a 3-part series. There's 2 more books coming along that brings me right into training camp. So the second book just talks about Washington. It talks about my whole time at Washington Redskins and just the ups and downs of the thing. But I mean, I kind of give away the most important part towards the end, but it's right. But it's still a whole lot of meaty stuff in there.
Sure.
To get players people that are in the league and have a goal and see like what I went through. Like it wasn't like I wasn't a guy that just brought my lunchbox to work. I came early and I brought 2 lunches. I came early and then I stayed late.
Right.
So I had to bring 2 lunches with me. And
There
that's
you
the
go.
type of player I was, because my dream wasn't just to go to the NFL. My dream was to be successful there. But even though we have a dream, there's other plans that's for us in life. And I believe, I'm a believer that God has a plan for us all. And I had to have that obsession and dream to go there to learn some stuff. But now I'm taking it throughout my life right now, and I get an opportunity. I'm on a stage right now and have an opportunity to change lives everywhere. Because one thing about it, we all have goals and desires and dreams. The reason why we have those goals and desires is because that's what the world needs. The world, you was given that gift, that talent, that goal to go after, because the world needs it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, the world is lacking a lot of things right now because people don't know how to pursue those things. Like a person can look at me and say, Leroy, you're doing everything. You all over the place. You got so much going on. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They'll say that because I do. And the reason why, because I can't stop, because it's not saying everything that comes to my head I want to do. But the fact is that it's something that I feel that's personal, that's desirable, and things that I know that the world needs. I go after. I go after and I pursue it. Like I just, my life matters. It's like, why are you running 5Ks and for people that you don't even know? You know what I mean? For an organization you'll never see. The reason why is because I feel I'm supposed to. It was in my heart that I should do that.
Right.
And when I do that, it's changing lives. And that's why I think that my whole mission of going to the NFL and having this obsession and knowing that, having that, not because the one thing you don't want to do, if you're an alcoholic, you want to have an AA meeting with a person that never had a drink before in their life, right?
Right. Absolutely right.
And so the thing is that I had an opportunity to go through these things. I had an opportunity to fail and understand the reason I failed because it's preparing me for what I'm doing right now. It's preparing me. What life is like, this COVID-19, it affected a lot of people. And I tell you one thing about it, I did not falter. I mean, it was not saying it wasn't scary for a lot of people. So yeah, so that was the whole thing, man. So I had to go through this, what I had to go through to get where I'm at now. And I'm able to handle the things I got going through now, because life's coming hard. It's coming fast, man. And I'm just trying to keep up with it.
Absolutely. So you're king of segues here. So listen, I've got this cool logo. It looks like a tree, right? With an arrow, basically an arrow facing upward. And then the back says
dream.
You got dream on there. So you got this dream project. So give us kind of a quick breakdown of what the dream project's all about.
Okay. Now, so the arrow, so basically what you got on right there, show it again, show it one more time. So that's the purpose arrow. So you set your goals and dream at the bottom of that arrow and you reach at the top, and all that stuff in the middle is what in general right there. That was my life. You're going to go through all those things.
The journey's never straight.
The journey's never straight. And you're always going to run through some kind of brick wall. You're going to run through people telling you no. They're going to tell you to quit. They're going to tell you can't have it. They're going to tell you why. They're going to tell you all kind of stuff. But now the thing that you have to do is have that vision of seeing ahead, and knowing that stuff you go through is to make you stronger. Because whenever you have a dream, there's a line of no's, a line of N-O. There's a line of it. But as long as you keep going forward, there's a yes in there somewhere. But you'll never reach that yes if you stop after the first no, or
Absolutely.
the second no, or the third no, or the fourth no. You'll never get there. So, but it's designed, because whenever you have a dream to go after something, it's never small and it's never meaningless. So it's something that's special and the world needs it. So you have to be tough, right? So you have to keep going through the no's, keep going through the, oh no, you're not good enough, or you can't have that, or ignore, people ignore you, treat you bad or whatever. You have to be strong enough to handle what it is, because it's meaningful and the world needs it. So the only ones that make that shirt basically tell you the strong survives. So be strong.
That's right. So the cool thing and what you said there is all these series of no's. So as you know, I've been in sales my whole life. So they say that when you're closing, right, when you're trying to close a deal, you get 7 no's before you get a yes. So that's kind of what you're talking about, So if you're any good at sales, or have done it for more than a week, everyone's tried it, but not many people have the intestinal fortitude to continue with it. You hear more no's than you hear yeses. And even in today's world where a lot of the sales are done online, you still hear a ton of no's. It's no, 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 no. So to be successful in anything, the saying is, it isn't called negotiating till somebody says no, right? So it's kind of the same thing with dreams. Is me trying to do this podcast, is this a dream? I don't know if it's a dream, but it was a goal. What's the difference? I mean, I think a dream is something that is could be something that this was more of a goal.
You go after something.
Yeah, and I just said I want to do this, and I want to spread the word.
You have a vision. You have a vision. A vision. A vision is a dream. A vision is a dream. Like I'm saying, you got to go to sleep to dream. So that was your vision. Like, so your vision is your goal.
I like that. You don't have to go to sleep to dream. And then, and the deal is, we want to spread the word about dudes like you, there's football brought us all together, right? Football is our community, but a lot of us are doing things outside of football that have expanded who we are, right? I mean, you're a perfect example. Now, not everybody's doing what you're doing, not everybody's motivational speaker and writing books and, have a movie deal in the works and writing a second book. And, the list goes on and on, starting a football league and coaching your kids. He's a great dad too, man. I mean, the dude's everywhere. So. All right. So first I want to apologize. Leroy, we lost Leroy there. He's got some technical difficulties. We grew up out in the sticks.
Leroy Collins could go ahead and call back in. Call in, Collins. That's
right. With as much as Collins has going on, we may just have our own little segment called, and Wolf was talking about this out there, Collins. We may have just a special.
Just have him call you and get some segments and put it on here, and we'll put some video up. Like while we were talking, forgive me, but I watched one of my favorite videos on here. Leroy Collins highlights.
There you go.
There are times that he comes through that hole, and it's like,
yeah. I actually I'm going to see if I can cut some of that video out of there with his permission, of course, and put it on here while he's talking. So especially in some of those areas where we had some breaking up of his
You're right. He's got so much going on. Already got a book. He got another book. We know he's got more stuff coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny.
We didn't get to the movie deal.
Yeah. It's funny, Kenny, as we do these rants, and you do your thing and I do my thing. It's funny because people who learn to work hard, learn to chase a dream and go after the goals. And I don't call them goals because my attitude shield says goal stands for go out and lose. I go after targets. I can hunt a target down. Targets can move. You know what I mean? I let things in my life be a target. Because, I've tried to kick a field goal more times than I want to talk about, and I ain't made it yet.
Right.
That doesn't mean I can't score.
Right. Good point.
So anyway,
Good
Leroy
point.
is an amazing human being, and you got to have him back more than once. And I have actually been shocked since I met him with you in Oswego County, upstate New York, that Leroy Collins is not an NFL coach somewhere, that he's not a position coach, because he is one of those supernatural, amazing human beings that could change things. Of course, you know me. I also don't understand why teams that have these long histories of just losing, and they're in the bottom 20%, 30% of the NFL, keep trying to stick to the same business model. Why don't you get people like Kenny Anderson, Leroy Collins, bring some people into your staff that actually love the game, that aren't high on the smell of the $1 million contract. Give them 3 or 4 years because their head's right, their heart's straight. They want to make things happen and watch what they can do to a football team. But anyway, the NFL's all about money, and Semi-Pro is all about, I promise you can start.
So listen, yeah, we're definitely, I'll reach out to Leroy again, and we'll definitely get this guy booked again. Again, so I just want to recap what we talked about earlier. The question of my day here is, and put it in the comment section, is would you guys watch an additional episode a week if we brought in a second episode? Right now we're airing every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm thinking maybe we could do something Wednesday-ish. That time gives me the time to do my real jobs and also edit, which takes a few hours, to do as well. So that'll give me
Monday and Thursday sounds good.
Monday, Thursday, release Thursday. Yeah. So just give me some comments. Let me know if that's a good idea to y'all. If not, because like I said, I'm booked till Halloween, and I still got to get Leroy back on here, and I got 6 guys in waiting, and you got to
tell me if we're going to do 2, because I need to reach out to some people I know. I mean, there's some people on that I want you to talk. We want to talk to, that are like fit the mold.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, Wolfman, I definitely appreciate you helping out here. I know I was going to lean on you. I've done it for 10, 15 years now. We'll just keep the little lean going here, but definitely appreciate you helping me out. Helping the show out. And, if you need anything, obviously I can help in return for your shows. You let me know, and, we'll go from there. All right.
Grand Family Adventures coming soon.
All right, buddy. Good luck on that. And again, you need any help on that, you let me know. All right.
All right, brother.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Rant later.
All right, buddy. See ya.